Hemi up against an LS series of the Camaro. Charger weighs over 4,000 pounds, Camaro about 1,300.
Let's go.
Charger's got more horsepower. Camaro.
How's it going, guys? Donovan here. Today's video is an exciting one. Today we're going to be taking this thing to the drag strip. Finally, I know you guys have been asking for races for like ages now. It's an 1/8 mile. Unfortunately, it's not a 1/4 mile. The closest 1/4 mile to me right now has been closed, and they say it's closed for the rest of the year. If you guys are new to the channel, please remember to click that subscribe button below and click a like on the video. It really helps with the algorithm, helps the channel out. And also, if you're new to the channel, this is my 2016 Charger RT. It is pretty much cammed, full bolt-on E85. It's also on a tire right now, some Mickey Thompson ET Street R's on a 17-inch RaceStar wheel. I'm taking the car full weight, so I'm not taking any seats out. Oh, and I do want to mention, since we are drag racing and it is cammed, I do not have a torque converter. It's a stock stall on this car. Of course, a torque converter would absolutely help, especially with the 60-foot times and getting off the line. But the cam's not huge, so it's not a huge deal, but obviously that would give me the best time, so it is what it is. With that being said, this is going to be the first time I've ever taken this car to a drag strip. It's going to be the first time I've ever raced on a drag strip. I've had this car on a turning track before. After studying a little bit, I think we'll be okay. I think we should have a fun time, see how the car does finally. Unfortunately, I know you can't tell how hot it is outside, but it's a sunny blue skies day, but it's going to be like 90 degrees at the track. I did the math, and the DA at the start should be just shy of 2,000 feet, which is kind of bad. It's also my first time, so I'm not really expecting to put up the best times in the world. Just to have some fun and get some experience, and then maybe when it cools down, go back, try to beat my own record. Okay, so we are currently at Irwindale now. Desiree is going to film for me. I had to rent a helmet. Luckily, a guy here was renting them out of his car. I need to go buy my own, but thankfully he rented it to me for 20 bucks. Good deal, whatever. Gotta get my own here soon. But I went ahead, watched a couple of races, went over staging. Of course, I studied a little bit on YouTube last night of people who've done this, explain it a little pretty well. So I'm about to take the car out, and we'll see if I make it out of here alive. So it looks like we'll be racing this Camaro right here. It's gonna be my first ever time down a drag strip. So my first ever time down was an 8.8 at 84 miles an hour, so not bad. I'm gonna go ahead and pull out, get out of line real quick, load up a new tune, get back in line. Okay. Okay, so that was an awkward start. Okay guys, so basically what's going on now, as you guys saw in that last run, I hit the rev limiter. So what I'm doing now is VCM editor. What I'm going through now is I'm loading on a different trans tune. I have my time slip here, so I'm on the right. So I did an 8.8, which was a little bit faster than that Camaro, at 84 miles an hour. So I'm gonna get that. My 60 foot was a 2.2, which is, I don't think it's terrible for my first time, but I wanna get that into the low, like low twos, maybe 2.0, maybe even lower.
gonna lose anyway, but I believe the red bulb is always an automatic L.
Tesla was 734, 95 miles an hour. Red light.
So there was a cool dude here with a RT. He said he'd seen my YouTube videos before. He says it's a bone stock Charger RT. I see he has an intake on it, and we're gonna run. His car is otherwise stock, not tuned. We'll see if I can beat a stock car. He has a lot more experience than I do though, so that's gonna be my excuse when I lose. That RT, I have the time slip here, we'll talk about it a little bit. So I still ran an 8.8 and it was actually slower than my first time, but my reaction time now is down to a 0.23. You can see though, my 60 foot is slightly slower than his, and I'm not sure if that's due to me not knowing how to launch the car yet, or if it's due to me losing low end on the cam, because he's a completely stock car, so theoretically he may have more low ends than I do. So I was about 4/10, almost half a second faster, a little over 8 miles an hour faster. And I think if I could get that time down a little bit, I could bring the ET down. But what I'm noticing is it's really hard to get into the mid-lower 8s right now, and I think it's because of the weather. I'm watching some 392s that are actually making similar times right now. So I think my best bet is to just race other cars and see how I compare against those other cars right now in this weather. Because I know some people are going to say, oh, my stock RT ran an 8.2 and they had negative 2,000 DA. But we're having fun. We're going to race some more cars. I'm going to wait till, like I said, I'm going to have something to eat real quick. We're going to wait till it cools down a little bit and we'll go back out. That one felt good. I think I crossed the line at 87, maybe a little tad under. Okay, so I just ran that run that you guys saw. Unfortunately, Desiree didn't get to record it, but in her defense, I forgot to text her when I was pulling up to the line because there's a decent amount of cars here, and I don't really blame her. So that time, I ran a low 8.7 at 85 miles an hour. My reaction time went up slightly because I didn't want a red light. You can see my 60 foot's dipping into the 2.1s, which is better. It was in like the mid 2.2s before, so that's going down. The weather went down about 5 degrees, but humidity went up like 15%. Not bad, we're improving, and I'm letting the car cool down right now as we speak. Letting the car cool down for a minute. We'll get back in line and maybe run it 1 or 2 more times tonight, because I think they close at 10. It is currently 8:45. pretty sure that that is Yellow Jacket up there, and I am not surprised that I just got murdered. Kind of want to, I think it's time to go home. I was gonna say, I hope I get into the 8.6s, but that didn't really feel like one. Mostly because my launch felt kind of nasty. I don't know if it's actually him, I'll have to check the plate, but that thing is not a normal 10-speed Mustang, and it's crazy, dude. That's ridiculous. Okay, so today is actually the next day. We can talk about my time slips a little bit. I have all 5 right here from all 5 runs I did, and yeah, let's go over them. Now, before we get started, just for reference, I want to tell you guys that the DA, like I said, was about 2,000 feet. It was like 92 outside and like 40% humidity, so it was god-awful weather. And plus, it was my first time. Now, these are totally excuses, but it gives you a little bit of reference as to what these numbers mean and how to interpret them. So this was my first run, not only of the day, but my first time ever launching on a drag strip. And I ran an 8.8 at 84.5 miles an hour. Next was my worst run, and it was the worst run because I red lit it and I got like a 9.5 seconds, so we're gonna pretend like that didn't happen. This run is arguably the most important of all the runs that I did, mostly because it was a pretty much stock RT versus my car, and we had both been hot lapping our cars pretty much, and it was obviously at the same time of day because we ran each other, so in my opinion this is one of the most even races of the day. I ran an 8.8 at 84 miles an hour, and the RT ran just shy of a 9.3 at 76.5 miles an hour. So there was a good mile an hour and time difference there. My best run of the night was this one. This one I ran an 8.7, almost flat, at 85 miles an hour. That wasn't quite my goal, but just to give you guys reference, there was a Scat Pack there that was pretty much hot lapping his car that was getting mid-8s on his runs. They were getting better 60 foots than me. Like I mentioned before, my 60 foots were consistently about 2.2. Where is it on this one? This one was really bad. This was almost a 3-second 60 foot, so this was just a bad run altogether. Yeah, so my 60 foots were always 2.2s, which are pretty bad. I saw people in similar power cars getting similar miles an hour doing like sub 2 second, which I'm pretty sure, you know, is indicative of a much better driver than myself. Like I said, I've never raced before. This is my first time. So with that being said, the mile an hour says a lot. I was getting the same mile an hour pretty much as the 6.4s that were there, which was pretty exciting. Time-wise, like I said, my launches were murdering me. I need to practice my launches, so I will be back there soon. And then plus, there may be a little bit of loss in there because of the low-end losses from the cam. Maybe I need a torque converter. I gotta really play around with my launching, my tire PSI, because there was a few times when I actually spun a little bit. I could hear the tires chirping behind me. And you know, just finding the right RPM to launch from. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This was my first time at the track. I had a ton of fun, and I plan on going back soon. Hopefully I can go out at night when the weather's a little bit better, maybe a little less humidity, and see what I do. So thank you guys for watching. Remember to click the like button if you haven't already, and subscribe to the channel if you aren't. Like I said, we're gonna go back, try to improve on those times, see how we do in the future, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.